This is another 4-player fixed card game which is being played with my subscribers. The yellow player is an intermediate, the black player is a master, and the blue player is an incognito player who is playing on a brand new account, and who didn't have any rank role assigned in the server either, so no idea about this person's rank, but we are going to see how they play. I think either way for me, at this case would be the smartest to assume that I'm playing with another high-ranked player, even if at first it won't appear from the moves they make. I know that I have to be prepared for anything. As you can see, I was the first player to get a continent, getting it very easily and having enough troops to defend it, so I'm the player who is in the best position right now. And then as you saw, the blue player quickly followed by capturing and having a continent as well, though not having enough troops to properly guard it. But no problem at all if he doesn't get invaded. I think I'm as another small continent player would like to be in a strong alliance with him and try teaming up on other players, rather than getting into a conflict with him, as while we would be fighting each other, the players who don't have a continent yet, would get it and probably become even strong than us. So to show to the blue player that I will be willing to team up with him, what in my turn I decided to do is to visibly target the black player, and looking forward to see if the blue player follows me. Though this is the first time I'm playing with a blue player, so I'm not aware if he knows about the teaming up strategies, but since it's a subscriber game, I think he should. In this turn, by seeing that the black player is at 3 cards and could have an ability to retaliate against me if having a set, I decided to potentially try wiping him out from Europe, because as you can see, the blue player doesn't add any troops on my border at all. So if the black player went from Europe to South America through Africa after trading in a set, then I would be the player who gets damaged the most. Though the blue player just crushed an army of his troops to the black player as well, so not necessarily I would be the only player to who the black player would like to retaliate. Though as you can see, the black player just wiped out some of my troops from different places, so I think his overall plan right now is to make it between him and me who gets eliminated as the 4th player. And that might be his best shot, but who knows? I think a lot of depends to the blue player. And to the yellow player's influence obviously too, with him crushing my troops. I moved my troops from Australia so to help the yellow player of getting it, and expecting that in return he would help me out to deal with black. But as you can see, everything went to a completely way different than I expected, and it really backfired me, with me losing 9 troops in overall in comparison with 4 if I had just simply left my existing troops in Australia. The black player has just invaded me, but with me having a set at 4 cards as well, I will recapture South America, and the black player should still be the one to get eliminated first. So unless the blue and yellow players would decide differently, but the troop and position wise it would be much easier and efficient to get rid of the black player. Looking from the yellow player's perspective, for him to crush an army of my troops in Asia and help the black player out, could have been a very good idea. Looking to the game getting to the 3-player situation, is because with me and the blue player being in a strong alliance, we would probably continue teaming up together on another player as well. So in that sense it really made a lot of sense to the yellow player to crush my troops to help the black player out, and expect that I could potentially be eliminated as the 1st player instead of black, as the black player would probably really appreciate the yellow player, and in the 3-player endgame would probably team up with him on the blue player. So that really makes sense for sure. Though after all, my personal guess on why the yellow player crushed an army of my troops in Asia back then is because he simply wanted to bring his European army on Australian border so he would have enough troops to properly guard it. So I should have really seen it. But alright, the yellow player invades me into South America, so apparently I was probably wrong, and the yellow player actually wants to be in a strong alliance with the black player, as otherwise he knows that the 3-player situation possibly wouldn't be that much promising to him. Though I think the black player is just too weak at this point to be kept alive. And that's right, the blue player has taken him out, getting a very favorable blitz roll of losing even 7 troops fewer, though on the other hand luckily he only gets a 4-troop set. And I said luckily, because looking to the troops counter, the blue player basically has the same number of troops as me and the yellow player combined. So this is the point of the game when I and the yellow player should be really looking forward to being the alliance and team up on blue, rather than targeting each other, as otherwise the game could be given away to the blue player. And I mean, the blue player might have even already won if he had gotten a better set, as with both of his armies being unleashed towards me he could have tried taking me out, like firstly trying to do some manual rolls on me to see how it goes, but luckily with the blue player getting a bad set he didn't go for that. And then with me actually having and trading a set at 3 cards, the opportunity for the blue player to potentially take me out for 4 cards was completely gone. And then with the yellow player trading an a set also, there was no way for the blue player to stay being so much stronger than us. Now looking to the troops counter, I see that my opponents are quite stronger than me, with both of them having very decent positions, so I won't do the dirty work. I will just let them deal with each other by themselves. It probably wouldn't have been a great idea to invade the yellow player into Asia for me, wasting both of our troops, as then with the yellow player not being able to invade the blue player into his continents, and with the blue player being at 4 cards, blue would have won the game. And then I didn't invade the blue player, so the yellow player would invade him by himself, and with that the blue player would retaliate to invading him into Asia. As what I want is that I wouldn't be the weakest player anymore. I want that the yellow and blue players would get down to my troops level and I would be as worthy opponent once again. And in this turn I didn't invade the yellow player again, because with the blue player having 5 cards I wouldn't have liked to potentially weaken myself too much to be worth eliminated. As I knew that even with the yellow player getting the troops for Asia, he still wouldn't have gotten an unbreakable position or ending up having more troops than me and the blue player combined, especially when the blue player was at 5 cards and in a suitable position to invade the yellow player if looking to these yellows 1-troop Asian borders next to the blue player's army in Ukraine. But with the blue player not invading the yellow player for the 3rd time, he just forced me to invade the yellow player by myself. And I did that, as otherwise if I hadn't done so the game could have potentially be given away to the yellow player, so I just had to invade the yellow player now, but with that potentially risking of getting eliminated myself with 4 cards by one of the players. But as you can see, everything went well. The blue player was invaded by the yellow player as he should have been, so the blue player didn't get too strong. And then even with the yellow player unexpectedly trading an a set at 3 cards and becoming much stronger than us, he left his army blocked, and with us trading in sets, soon enough we will become strong as him. So unless the yellow player over weakens blue, and I take the blue player for the cards if he doesn't have a set at 4. Now reducing the yellow player's territories as much as possible, but obviously not unleashing his biggest army. I want that he would stay in Australia blocked, and wouldn't potentially crush my army, so I wouldn't be left for the blue player with all of my cards. The yellow player continues attacking blue, and that's something what I really like a lot, as now I think the blue player will get a very big initiative to team up on the yellow player with me. But the blue player doesn't even have a set at 4 cards, and with that I really regret to not fortifying my army out from Asia, as with that I will have been able to take the blue player out without unleashing the yellow player's biggest army, but now I'm not sure anymore if I should actually go for blue. And after all I decided not to, but I don't know, looking back to the game it looks like I could have won here if I had actually taken the blue player out at this moment, even with unleashing the yellow player's army. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Anyway, now that was very unexpected for the yellow player to attack the blue player, as even if he wiped him out from South America, there would have still his territory been in Europe left. But honestly I really panicked with the yellow player receiving even 11 troops. I shouldn't have let him hold Africa with so many territories. Anyway, the good news is that with the blue player invading both of us, he left his troops in the yellow player's continent, meaning that I could recapture North America and invade the blue player himself into South America. Though I see that the yellow player has a lot of territories, so I need to reduce them also. I really think if the blue player doesn't have a set at 3 cards then I won the game. Let's fortify a bunch of troops next to him. I don't want to fortify the whole army, as then the yellow player could get the idea and fortify his army out from the blocked place, while with him leaving his biggest army blocked in Australia, I should win the 2-player endgame very easily against him. So yeah, that's very promising to me for sure. But yeah, unfortunately I realized that I do not have a set at 4 cards, so now I cannot safely take the blue player anymore, as if I tried and failed then the game would be given away for the yellow player. So I will rather wait for one more turn. Very fortunately the blue player skipped his turn, so he didn't get another card, and with that I know that he doesn't have a set. I mean, that would have been insane for him to not trade in a set at 3 cards if having one when I was setting my troops up to take him out. Unfortunately the yellow player still leaves his army completely blocked, so with that I know that it's totally safe for me to take the blue player out. So sorry, not sorry blue, but I have to take you out. I cannot miss another opportunity to win. And now let's see if I am actually able to trap the yellow player in Asia, receiving all of those troop bonuses for these 4 continents while having only 2 borders to guard. Too bad I couldn't safely take the blue player out in the last turn, as now the yellow player at 4 cards is very likely to have a set. And he did, but luckily only the 4 troops won, with me still receiving the troops bonuses for both of the Americas. So that's a GG. Now I would recommend you watching another 4-player fixed card game which was played with my subscribers as well. That's another interesting and funny game. So make sure to check it out as well.